What's up, guys? Okay, so welcome to part 5 of shit that nobody watches. Okay, so I'm going to do a longer format now for this. I'm going to put this on YouTube, mainly because me trying to get it down under 3 minutes of the information I'm giving out is stressful as fuck. I'm just going to be real. So it's going to be a little longer on this format, and then I'll still post the reels on the other one. Now, today I'm going to go over stuff that should be pretty easy people understand, but it's going to make it easy for you guys. So we're going to go over protein, carbs, and fat. The calories, I already posted about that stuff already. You guys already should see that. You guys should already know how to be able to figure out your calories. If not, go watch that reel. But protein, make this really easy. How much protein, how much carbs, how much fat am I supposed to eat? So here's what you do. For protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's it. So if you're 200 pounds, you're going to go ahead and need about 200 grams. That's it. Now, the only part where it's a little different is if you weigh, let's say, 300, 350, 400, you're a big ass dude. If you're a big ass dude, okay, it's going to be hard to eat that much protein. The better way to do it is get yourself like a watch. When you get the watch, the body fat percentage will actually tell you what it is, and then you go and do it. So for example, if you weigh 350 pounds and you're 40% body fat, that puts you at about 140 pounds of just fat. And the rest of it is going to be muscle. It's about 210 if I'm doing the math right. So 210. That's going to include muscle, bones, all that. You're going to eat a minimum of 200 grams of protein. That's if you're really big. Now, when to eat protein, fat, and carbs. This is very specific. You do this one little thing, your shit gets real easy. Really, really easy to build muscle and to lose weight and to stay lean while building muscle. It actually works well. So what you do is protein's always going to be a part of it. I'll make it really condensed down to make it good. Protein and carbs together, good. Protein and fat together, good. Carbs and fat together, bad. What is that? Like a donut? Like, think about it. It's bread, carbs. Go ahead and fry that bitch, and then, which is fat, and then go ahead and cover it in sugar. And then we wonder why we're the fattest nation in the world. There you go. Pretty easy to understand. So when to eat these things? Very, very easy. Here's how you condense it down. When you work out, post-workout, eat protein and carbs. That's it. Protein and carbs. Stay as low as humanly possible for fat that you can possibly do. We're talking low. That's why if you looked at my other previous reel when I showed you what I eat post-workout, it was 1 tablespoon of mayo, 2 cans of chicken, and like 700 grams of just white rice. The amount of fat on that is like maybe 9-10 grams. It's really not that much fat. So you want to separate it. If any other time that you're not working out, that is not post-workout, you want to do protein and fat together and keep the carbs as low as humanly possible. The reason for doing this is when you do fat and you do carbs together, it kind of screws up the whole metabolic and how your body absorbs it and everything else. It doesn't work very well. So it actually slows down digestion, and it's not good. So you don't want to also take carbs when you're not working out, because what happens is that spikes insulin. Spiking insulin makes you fat, but spiking insulin also builds a lot of muscle. That's why bodybuilders will straight up inject insulin. Don't recommend that unless you're diabetic, but do not recommend that. They will inject insulin because it spikes the insulin, tells your body to grow and build muscle. That's how that works. So what's actually going to happen is when you do this is post-workout, you want carbs. Like I said, protein and carbs. And when I say carbs, I mean insulin spiking carbs, potatoes, white rice, stuff like that. The good shit, right? Maybe even white bread. I don't do that much on it, but it's whatever. Spike that bitch, right? When you're not working out, right? It's fat and protein. You want to stay as low carb as humanly possible. You do not want to spike insulin at that point, because you spike insulin, the only thing your body's going to tell to do is, oh, I need to go ahead and put on fat. I need to put fat on. Post-workout, you spike insulin, it goes, oh, it's time to go ahead and build some muscle. That is a significant difference between the two of those. That is the reason you do that. Again, I'll be real. If you're like from the ages of 15 to 20, 25 years old, you don't have to be that specific on it. I mean, shit, some of these guys do. When I was 15, I got away with eating pizza. So, and I'm like, I'm going to go eat a burrito. When I'm talking like California burritos. That is my crutch. I love California burritos. But Either way, I digress. The whole thing is, if you do that, when you're over 40, you got it. You can still eat good food, but you need to figure out when to eat this food. That's all it is. So that's all it comes down to. So in later ones, I'm going to go over how to fast as well as how to restore leptin levels. Actually, screw it. I'll go over the leptin levels right now. Leptin is a hormone that essentially controls your metabolism. That's it. It's the main thing that controls metabolism. That's the best way to explain it. I could really go thoroughly into it, but most people don't give a shit. They just want to know, okay, it's a hormone. That's it. However, what leptin actually does is if you're constantly doing low calories, which by the way, I went over protein and carbs this time and fat, go look at my other reel to explain how to actually figure out your calories you're supposed to be eating. But if you're always 250 to 500 under what you're doing, eventually your leptin levels get downregulated and then you plateau. And everybody has seen that. Everybody has hit the plateau where you cannot lose body fat and you're like, what the hell? Why can't I lose body fat? That is the reason why. So to restore that, this is the good news. To restore that leptin levels, every once every week or 2 weeks, you're going to have a cheat meal. And when I go cheat meal, I mean, you go effing hard. The recent one I did was 4th of July. You guys saw me eat something like 2,500 calories. That was a cheat meal. That was me going hard. I still ate mostly protein and fat and very little carbs. I had like maybe 2 cups of rice max, I think. It was like 170, about roughly 2.5 cups of rice. But most of the time, I was just protein and carbs. This is the day that you can eat pizza. This is the day that you can eat burgers, the shit you're dying for. However, you have to be very specific on when to eat these things. So, for example, if you're lean like me, my watch, it says I'm roughly 20% body fat. I think I'm closer to 15, but hey, it's not going to be that super accurate. But if you're that lean, you could do that cheat meal once a week and you're fine. If you're 300, 400 pounds, you probably can get away with that cheat meal once every 2, maybe 3 weeks because you can't constantly do it. That's it. So you have to be able to mess with it. Also, another note on carbs and protein. I said take your carbs post-workout to grow, to build muscle, to do. If you're trying to cut though, and you're lean like I am, you can have those carbs. I eat probably close to 400 carbs a day, and I'm working out sometimes twice a day. So because of that, my glycogen stores in my muscles, the glycogen, which is actually where your carbohydrates, sugars go, they're never filled up. I did the math on it. I need to eat like 900 grams of carbs just to fill up glycogen. And because I only do 400 a day max because I hit my max calories, I'm not ever filled up. So I can pretty much eat carbs all the time. However, if you're a big dude, if you're 300, 340, 350, 400 pounds, you're going to have to limit the carbs. I'm talking post-workout, you want those carbs, that's fine. But we're talking like a cup of white rice. We're talking about maybe 50 grams of carbs. We're not talking about the shit that I do, which is I think last time is 750 grams is like, oh my God. I think that's 3.5, 4 cups of white rice, a cooked white rice. That's not dry, because that'd be an insane amount, but that's cooked white rice. That, I would not recommend that if you're a big guy trying to lose weight. If you're a woman trying to lose weight. For women, it's actually even harder because the amount of calories that you can burn is even less than you can, less than men can. Also, women, if you had a baby and you're coming back from it, you may notice that your metabolism never comes back to what it was post. It's just what it is. It sucks, but that's what it is. So if you notice before, if you're a woman and you're trying to lose weight, that you could eat 1,500, 1,400 calories a day and you lost weight at it, but you do the same amount and you can't lose weight, you just have to keep lowering calories until you finally hit the threshold where it actually helps you lose weight. Again, kind of mess with it to figure it out. If you're doing too less of calories, you're not going to be able to, you're going to burn too much and then your body's going to hold fat. So I digress there. Like I said, I'm going to do a really short reel of this because apparently at 3 minutes and putting all this information is super stressful for me. Also, nobody really watches a reel longer than like 20 seconds. So I'm going to make a shorter reel of this. If people want to see the bigger one, they just come here. So that's it. If you guys like it, get the information, go ahead and follow me. Go ahead and finger that like button appropriately, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.